Hey guys, Clint Little here with Happy Ben Kennel. We're going to be making a series of videos on the raw diet for your puppy or dog. Most of these videos are directed toward the families getting my puppies, focusing on a puppy around 17 to 20 pounds in weight when you get it. But there's a lot of people out there telling you how to do the raw diet. Some are literally raw feeding experts. They could teach anyone how to do the raw diet properly. There is no one right way, one wrong way, several ways to do it, but we want to show you just how simple it really can be. We don't want you seeing somebody on social media that had a pup for a week. Now you're going to follow what they do and think they must know because they've been doing it for a few meals now. We want our babies going to where the family is fully qualified to do the raw diet. We don't want you not understanding the right ways and about the bone, about the organ meat, what meats, and just how simple it all really is, so you'll continue doing it. I'm going to dig in here. The first thing, you need a pair of shop shears. We get this brand right here down at Home Depot. They're razor blade sharp almost. They work great. They will cut the meat like paper. Then scales, digital scales, or it can be the dial, but just scales, preferably with a little centered, so your dish sets on top pretty good. Please don't get into trying to use a pair of food scales you may already have that looks like a little calculator. You're setting the plate on it. It's moving all around. You zero it out, and then you cover up the digital readout with your dish, and now it's sliding off, and now it's complicated. Now it's frustrating. You're spending 15 minutes to make a meal when it should be 1 to 2 minutes. Spend the $40. Get a good pair of scales to do the raw diet because you have to know exactly how many ounces you're feeding per meal. First thing on the raw, we're going to touch on a couple very simple things. A raw egg for your puppy. Puppy that you get from me when it arrives, one raw egg, say every other day. That'll be great. But as you'll see me talking in the future videos, one egg per week is better than no egg at all, but preferably an egg every other day. Once your puppy is 4 to 6 months of age, you can feed easily one of these a day. It's not overdoing it on egg. Next simplest thing that I really don't talk about enough with families when we're talking about the raw diet is the egg, and also right here, plain yogurt. Just a good spoon full of plain yogurt, and then cottage cheese. Just one good spoonful of cottage cheese. Give that to your puppy 1 to 2 times a week, and that'll be great. Now, we're going to be digging in here in a moment on the meat. We're going to make up 10 meals and put out here, show you how easy it is to cut it up. We're going to go down the bone-in, boneless meals, ending with organ meat for the 10th meal. If you feed the organ meat every 10th meal, you got nothing but perfect, dead on 10% organ meat, just like you need. Don't try to put in 10% organ meat each and every single meal. Just feed the 10th meal, nothing but organ meat. It's that simple. We're going to show you some simple ways. Now, fish. Right here I got some little sardines. We're going to turn on our scale, smooth some things out of the way. Okay, we're going to make up a 12-ounce meal. Now right here's little sardines. You can feed a whole meal of sardines, or you can just feed a few sardines. Now right here we got salmon. Got 2 ounces of the sardines. Let's put in, now, got a 12-ounce meal, salmon and sardines. Maybe instead, we take out, now we're down to about 8 ounces. Now, we add some mackerel, just some old mackerel. Easiest thing. Now we have 12 ounces. We have sardines, salmon, and mackerel. It can be a whole meal of just the sardines, just the mackerel, or just the salmon. Or you can mix some different fish up. It just doesn't matter. It hasn't got to be a certain set way only of doing the fish. But this would be one of your good boneless meals right here for fish. So we're going to save this meal right up here for one of our boneless meals we're going to be needing here in a bit to show you about boneless and bone in, back and forth, boneless and bone in, back and forth. Easy thing to do. To get your bone percentage right, two ways of doing it. You can calculate by cutting the meat off the bone, weigh the meat, weigh the bone, do the math, keep up with average. You need averagely around 15% bone in throughout the week for the puppy, the dog throughout its life. Anything between 10 and 20% on average is perfect. I'm more about 15 to 20 than I am down to the 10%, kind of the low end of it. But I'll show you how you can do a bone-in meal and a boneless meal. Bone-in meal, boneless meal, works out perfect. But next thing is, let's go to organ meat. So what we have right here is chicken gizzards, beef heart, and beef liver. Now there's people going to tell you, even the lady in the book that I recommend will say that the beef heart is not an organ. Chicken gizzard is not an internal organ. They are, but they also double as organ meat. So I believe that a heart is an organ meat. I would think you would too. I just take some chicken gizzards here with these good sharp shears. Gotta be careful, they'll get your finger. But I go way too fast. Normally, try to slow down, cut a few of these things up. All you gotta do, keep your fingers back. And yes, I wear vinyl gloves. I don't need to be washing my hands every 5 minutes when I can just wear a vinyl glove and pull it off and have a clean hand to touch whatever next. That's simple. Now we're going to take beef liver next, but let's put this in, see how much we got. How many ounces of chicken gizzard do we got? Let's make it 4. 4 ounces of chicken gizzard. We'll put this aside. Now let's go with 4 ounces of beef heart. I'm sorry, beef liver. Cut this up just a little bit. We have to cook our liver. Most of our pups don't want it raw. They'll eat beef liver better raw than they will any other liver really that we found. So we just kind of cook it up for each pup, each litter. That works out much better. Now we're going to add 4 ounces of the beef liver. You can just drop them right on your scale. I know it's hard for you guys to see everything I'm doing. I don't have nobody here with me to zoom in and out. Just cameras in the tripod. Now we have that. 4 ounces of beef liver. Now we're going to add 4 ounces of beef heart. Look at that old big thing. Nice and rich. When I cut my meat normally, I'll cut it in strips. Kind of like this. Just cut pieces off. You can then drop it right in there. Cut up little pieces. It's so simple. Just like that. Now, there's 12 ounces total. Now I'll set this aside. Now we have 12 ounces of organ meat for an organ meat meal. We'll keep this. We'll set it around here somewhere. It's going to get messy quick around here, all this stuff. Bear with me. First time doing all this on camera, and ain't enough room to hold everything, honestly, but I'm needing to show right now. So, now, and the way we do the organ meat is we do 1 meal of nothing but organ meat every 10th meal. Every 10th meal, all organ meat. You'll have 10% organ meat on average as a whole by simply feeding every 10th meal. Nothing but organ meat. Most people think you've got to put 10% organ meat in every single meal. You're looking for, maybe you're doing a 10-ounce meal, 12-ounce meal, 14-ounce meal. You're needing 1 ounce of organ meat. When you do your organ meats, you need 25 to 50% of that organ meat meal to be liver. Make sure you feed plenty of liver. So, when you feed organ meat, every 10th meal, easiest thing ever to do, give you 10% organ meat. But we have this all on our website, you know, in text, it just sits there. But make sure you feed 25 to 50% of the organ meat meal in liver, whatever liver it might be. Find out what your dog loves best. Eats it raw, eats it a little bit cooked maybe, but you got to put liver in with the organ meat. Do you have to drive 3 states away to find pancreas of a certain animal, to find lamb lungs? You can't find them in your state. No, you do not. Are they good to feed? Yes. All the wide variety of organ meat you can get your hands on, the better. But then again, you're not driving 250 miles one way to get a certain organ meat that you found. Your Asian markets normally have tons of variety of all meats, but especially the organ meat. You can get a good wide variety of organ meats at your Asian market if you have one near you, or maybe you do drive a little ways out for that, but it's something you buy quite large volume of, and now you've got it on hand for several months, because every 10th meal being organ meat, it's not like you're going through tons of organ meat, and you can get a decent amount of organ meat at your local market normally in most states. Now I'd like to talk about the tripe. We feed the Tripet brand. We get it from chewy.com. But we got 3 kinds here today. You can feed 2 or 3, 4 ounces a day, or feed 3 or 4 ounces once a week. It's up to you. A couple ounces with each meal. Take off a couple ounces of how much you're required to feed for that meal, and add 2 ounces of tripe. We have it here with the venison and tripe, straight up tripe, and tripe here with duck and salmon. But they have several varieties of it. We kind of get them 3 most of the time. Kind of what we feed is those, you know, back and forth.